Hey, what is up guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at CCNC's Storm Spirit and talk about how he makes the enemy team rage quit. Yes, they completely gave up. He goes 15-1 against a team comp that I would argue is pretty hard for Storm to play against. The reason why I say that is they're all pretty tanky. Even Winter Wyvern as a position 5 is pretty hard to kill. And usually for Storm Spirit, when you play against a pretty tanky set of heroes, what ends up happening is that you overcommit and die. I'm sure for all of you who play Storm or any sort of hero with a lot of mobility, you get this. You're like, I thought I was gonna kill him, now I'm dead. So yeah, if you guys are excited for this video, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. We make sure that you guys get great content every day so that we can make money and you can enjoy Dota and we can learn together. And yeah, it is great. It's genuinely great. Like these last few years of my life where I've been able to do this, has it been a few years now? It's almost been 2 years where I've been doing gameleap YouTube content with the help of our editors. And okay, I'm gonna stop rambling before I get emotional, but let's get into the video. Oh, and guys, I forgot to let you know, I know you're struggling to gain MMR. Still, okay? I understand. But I have the solution for you. The gameleap website has thousands of pieces of content that you guys can watch to get to the next level. Also, every day, actually every day, I make a new video. Literally every day. And so if you are like, okay, the YouTube videos aren't enough, I need more, I need stuff to, kind of solidify my views on the game, you need to click the link down below right now and sign up. It's super important. It also helps out us, right? We put a lot of effort into the videos we create here for free on YouTube. And so yeah, sign up to the gameleap website to start gaining MMR and to support your boy Speed. And now let's get into the video. Alright, so the first tip I have to give is pull the wave under the tower. I feel like this is one I've said a couple times, so I'm not going to harp on it too much. His name is also Harmon. But basically, the reason why you want to do this is pushing the wave into the enemy team's tower allows you to deny creeps, especially if you are a ranged hero against a melee hero, or if the enemy does not have a nuke. So for Storm Spirit, you really like creeps under your tower because you have an easy way to secure them. Your Q, it's fantastic. You can prevent the enemy from denying creeps with it. However, Void Spirit, yeah, he has his E, but it's a long cooldown and he's melee, right? So he's gonna have to use it early on. And so let's kind of see how this plays out, right? He's gonna get a bunch of CS, beautiful CSing. Almost gets every single one of the wave. Now, as the Void Spirit has to retreat back to his tower, you're gonna notice how CCNC doesn't go AFK. A lot of players right here, they literally go AFK. I don't know why, but they would. When the wave is about to push in, when the range creep is about to die, if you have a nuke, nuke the range creep and hit the opponent until they get back to the tower. You get a lot of damage. All of a sudden, this guy's half HP. If you watch that clip back, it doesn't even seem obvious how that happened, and it's really just because he shoved the wave under the tower and then attack moved back. And now you can see, with some good pressure, he can make the Void Spirit miss at least one CS. Now, Void Spirit's a good player, so he doesn't miss a lot, but you can even pressure people. You can see, he's sneaking in auto attacks. If you stand to the right side of the tower, to be fair, if you're playing a Dire, the left side of the tower, my apologies. I guess I'm just looking at it from his point of view, the right side on here as well, over here. Quickly show you. You can hit people, right? You stand right there. You can hit people without drawing tower aggro. It's got to make sure that the tower is not about to attack you. So, for instance, right here, he doesn't want to hit the Void Spirit, because then the tower might be like, you're attacking my Void Spirit, and it will hit you, right? But if it's focused on a melee creep, and you're hitting from pretty far away, it won't attack you. Why it works like that, I have no idea. Dota's a really weird game, but it is what it is. The next thing I want to mention that he does, that I feel like most players just still haven't adapted to doing, is buying bottle before nulls. I am just so anti-null and anti-wreathband at this point, it's insane. The fact that they're upgrading those items for 200 gold doesn't give you any stats, not one. In my opinion, it's just not worth it. The large majority of the time. By the way, look at this tower pressure. Beautiful. But yeah, getting back to the point, rush model. For instance, right here, he bought an extra set of tangos, so he bought extra regen, right? No problem. He's got that on check. And yet he's still 127 health at minute 2, because the better you get, the more pressure you apply. Therefore, the more pressure you'll also, or damage you'll also take. And of course, the higher you go, the more you're gonna get pressured. So if you're in the 3k MR bracket and you buy extra tangos or an extra salve and rush bottle, and then spam pressure your opponent at the right time, you will stomp the lane 90% of the time. Trust me on that. Actually, 100% of the time. If you actually do all those things correct, you'll stomp it 100% of the time if you are below, 4 or 5k MMR. It's just how it is. Because people can't deal with this level of regen, this level of pressure. Especially if you pressure, as I said, at the right times, typically when they're under the tower or after you've shoved the wave. Or if they just overextend. The next important thing to do is shove the wave coming up to the runes. So you can see right here, 349, and he's actually playing super aggressive. And this is another concept I've come to see become very popular, and that is pressuring people for minute 3 even harder. And the reason why you do this and you want to buy the bottle early on is you can actually secure the rune really easily by using this regen. So in this case, Void Spirit actually has a bottle as well, but CCNC being in a favorable matchup, at least I consider it favorable, probably like 60-40 in Storm's favor, just because you have magical damage, and Electric Vortex is so good against melee heroes. It's brutal. You pull them into the creep waves. You can actually zone people out so they can't get the rune. So he's going to shove the wave, right? Using his Q as much as possible, secures the creep, shoves the melee, leaves the range creep, right? It is not nearly important as the rune. Do not go for the last creep if you can't get it. Get the rune. The rune is everything. It's everything. Right now he gets a DD, and you can probably understand how that's going to play out for the Void Spirit. Not too well. He can pressure him really hard. Obviously, he can get a lot of denies. He can even just threaten the Void Spirit with the fact that he has the DD. He doesn't even have to use it early on. The next thing that he does well is he goes back to base. You heard that correctly. He goes back to base. Why is that something that's important to learn? Because most people, if you've been playing Dota for a long time, you have this idea stuck in your head that going back to base is stupid. And if you go back to base, you're bad at the game and you should ship more regen. This hasn't been the case ever since they removed bottle crowing. You remember that, guys? Remember bottle crowing? I can't even believe the fact that was part of the game. Genuinely hilarious. If you're newer to Dota, well, you could put your bottle on the courier, send it back to base, and it would refill it for you. You can't do that anymore. Also, what am I thinking? There's no one new to Dota. Everyone knows that that's a thing if you watch these videos. But all in all, he didn't get the rune here. He has no mana. You want to know what he does? He shoves the wave and walks it back. And if you're playing Lesh or Storm or SF or any hero that can shove the wave and then walk back to base, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Cannot stress this enough. Playing the game with no bottle charges and no runes is a bad idea. You're going to die and you won't be efficient. Just go fill it up. Now here, he's going to start farming some neutral items, gets his 7-minute Ironwood Tree, continue to shove the waves. In this case, he decided to consider a top lane gank. Saw that his Drow was having a bit of a hard time. Also, Drow Treants is very heavy kill lane, right? You have a ton of kill threat with that lane, and so anytime you're a mid laner and you're deciding what lane to gank, you want to make sure that your lane is kill threat. Could he gank bottom? Absolutely. Bottom, Lion Snapfire, a ton of kill threat. And so, either lane he could gank. In this case, I think he just felt like the Void Spirit was going to dive top. I think he had a gut instinct that Void Spirit was going to make a play onto the Drow, and so he's going to counter-initiate, and Storm loves doing that. Now, in this case, some weird shenanigans happens. The thing I like most about this engagement is that he doesn't panic. He understands that I'm just not going to run away. You might be saying, what is Spirit Breaker doing? Spirit Breaker hates Storm Spirit in the early game. It's a horrible matchup for Spirit Breaker. It's just way too much magical damage. Now, in this case, CCNC ends up zipping quite a bit, but nonetheless, he ends up getting a haste rune, which is nice. He can bottle through this engagement, and without panicking and popping his bottle charges in between, the kill, he's able to get it. Not only that, he's able to chase this Void Spirit to the ends of the earth. Unfortunately, this one doesn't end up working out too well. Honestly, it was a bit of a bad decision. His line was low. They didn't really have any spells. Ends up running out of mana, and they have to completely disengage. Oh, but what do you know? He goes back to base! Yes! Alright, now that we've watched him go back to base twice, let's move on more towards the kill portion of this game. This game ends in 20 minutes and he gets 14 more kills, so let's take a look at how that's even possible. So the first thing I want to note is this Arcane rune. If you're playing with Storm Spirit on your team, you better ward the rune powers. Those things? The things that, give you a regen and Arcane? If you have a Storm on your team and you do not have a ward on those things, you are griefing. He gets this Arcane rune and he immediately invades the enemy team's jungle. Why? Because that's what you do when you have a power rune as Storm. If you have DD, Haste, Arcane, or Regen on Storm, you are so freaking strong. It is insane. It is ridiculous how powerful you are. See this Spirit Breaker? He's full HP. It's a very tanky hero. Usually Storm doesn't like going on Spirit Breaker because it would force you to commit your entire mana pool, but obviously with an Arcane rune, that's not the case. And so anytime you get one of these runes, play the map aggressively. Take aggressive farm, unless the enemy team literally has a million counters. Now, in this case, they don't, so he is going absolute sicko mode, gets the kill onto the Winter Wyvern, teleports out. Wow. It's also good awareness, TP is very nice. You want to know the next cool thing? It's a blue item. It's a blue item. So in this case, he's close to his Orchid. You're going to say Speedy has his Orchid, so he's going to ship his Orchid. No, look at this, look at this, look at this. Buys the Orchid. What would most people do? Buy the Orchid and ship it out. What does he do? Waits for a clarity. Can you believe that? How insane does that sound? It sounds insane, but you can't play Storm or Lina or Lesh or Ember without buying clarities. It doesn't work. He even buys 2 and decides to go back to base, right? Even though he decides to go back to base, he still has 2 clarities. If you try to play any of these heroes without preemptively buying clarities, you deserve to stay at your current MMR, if not drop. It is the most essential thing to these heroes in the mid game. And you're probably saying, oh, Speed, you're just over-exaggerating it for content. No, I'm not. I can't even imagine playing Storm without clarities. There's no way you can farm as much as you'd want while still fighting. It just wouldn't work. Also in this clip here, he has his Orchid, so he goes ham. I don't know why that guy offensively ules. That was a bit sus, as people call it nowadays. And yeah, they get the kills. By the way, when you're playing Storm or any of these high mobility heroes, the best way to snowball is as follows, okay? You want to get a little farm on any mobility hero, any tempo hero, any safe laner. Here's what you do. You split push the map. You see what he's doing right now? He's bottom lane, pushing in the waves. If anyone dives a tower mid, you show up to the fight. It's as simple as that, okay? Other than that, because he's ahead, he's level 12, everyone else is not level 12, he can make a bunch of plays in the side lanes. He knows he's very strong. He can 1v1 basically any hero. And if you want 1v1s, go to the side lanes, right? By the way, shipping more clarities. And a wand. Ships a mid-gain wand. That's how much these, these items impact Dota. People are just like, yeah, I only buy one if it's a Bat Rider game. Like, no! Every game. Okay, now here, this is pretty funny. TP's mid, literally for an Arcane Rune. I love this line. Makes me so happy. Oh, is that XD? That might be my friend. But nonetheless, he goes in, right? And he has an Arcane Rune. So, yeah, I mean, basically the main thing to understand about this fight, I mean, what makes him a good Storm Spirit player, it's very difficult. It's straightforward, but it's difficult. You have to know what kills you. So what kills him this game, guys? Curse. Curse kills him. Curse into specifically an Aether Remnant, Curse into Charge, or Curse into Diffusal Blade. That is actually a threat. He doesn't have a Diffusal Blade yet, but it is a threat. If you get cursed and their PL's next to you, he can still burn your mana, so it is something to keep in mind. But primarily, it's going to be the Spirit Breaker, the Void Spirit, and the Wyvern. So you have to really keep out for their spells. Now here he goes in, not too afraid of the Venom, obviously, right? He even Orchids him to prevent the ulti, just doesn't want to take the damage. Ends up getting charged. Now he has to be a bit careful, right? If he gets, if he gets cursed, he actually could theoretically die here. He even sees the ulti from the Spirit Breaker. Really good split attention. It is so hard to do this, guys. It is so hard to be able to look at one person that you're killing and pay attention to your surroundings. But if you want to get to this level, like rank 1, I mean, you got to do it. You have to do it, right? So he's able to disengage. Now he has an Arcane Rune, so you obviously don't want to necessarily commit to running away. But in this case, I think he decides that the fight is not too good, so he's going to end up chill. So he's going to end up chilling and just, farm a little bit. Also, this is what I mean. You don't want to completely go back into farm mode if you have an Arcane Rune or a Regen Rune, because this can happen. This guy walks out of position. He doesn't lead with Orchid. The reason why he doesn't lead with Orchid is because the guy has a Yule, so he leads with the pull. It's a good adaptation to the current matchup and item builds, which is why you need to know people's items, and he gets another kill for the team. By the way, guys, he currently has 2 things going. It's a Clarity and a Royal Jelly. Just want to point that out there. Wow! And I know I said this earlier, but I want to say it again. Defend the mid tower. People dive. And it makes it really easy for you to go in. Want to know why? Because Aether Remnant was committed, Charge was committed, a lot of HP was committed, 2 Astral Steps were committed. They're all going on the Drow, which means the fight is free for him. He also has full vision of the Venomancer. He knows that the Venomancer currently does not have the ability to dispel Orchid, so he's actually going to be able to, kill this Venom. Well, try to kill the Venom right off the bat. Now, unfortunately, it's a good heal from the Winter Wyvern, but funny enough, the guy still dies in the E. It was really close. In fact, he even got off his ultimate. But you can see, really good target priority. And this is the case when you fight under mid towers. You just have this advantage, frankly. You're even able to nearly track down this PL. Fortunately, he gets off his Manta. But you can see that's the power of defending the mid tower. You get to choose your targets, and you won't die. Also, what is that guy doing? I have no idea. You get to choose your targets because you have the vision advantage. It's the biggest thing about towers. People don't realize it, but the reason why you lose fights at towers is primarily vision. Like, it's actually kind of hard to tell at first, but that's actually what it is. It's vision and positioning. You can't get to the backliners that you typically want to jump if you're running into the enemy's tower. Now, moving ahead here, we're going to look at some fights before we end the video in about 8 minutes of this game time, probably another 3 minutes of video. I don't know, am I right, guys? Obviously, I don't know, but he's gone back to base 5 times this game, and that's like, it's just so substantial to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's just like one of those things that just seems so insane, but it's just like the meta with the fact that there's no shrines, right? There's no shrines, can't bottle crow. You know, he even went Orchid, which means he's not going to have nearly enough mana to just stay on the map. If he goes Bloodstone, maybe you can stay on the map a lot more. Gives you a lot more sustain, but he rushed Orchid, right? And so he doesn't have that. And so he has to go back to base a lot. Now in this fight, this one's a weird one. He ends up going pretty ham, goes for the TP out. I believe it gets canceled. Yeah, clumsy netted, the classic. But he doesn't panic. A lot of people, when they're dying like this, they panic. Guys, don't panic. Please, 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 please. Like, it's so funny to me when players are dying, and then their natural instinct is to, like, stand there and be like, team, cast your spells. I don't care what hero you're playing. If you can do something, do something. The difference between doing 200 damage or stunning someone for a second can be the whole thing that changes the fight. It literally could change the entire outcome of the fight. It's right here. He's about to die. He just commits, does the pull, drops his Orchid. He's probably like, I'm dead here. But somehow he's able to pick up, like, a triple kill? What? He dies, unfortunately. But man, that was close. Alright, and after 25 minutes of split pushing, he is, yeah, he's very, very farm. Yeah, so all of this fighting, he's still been split pushing the entire time. 185 CS in 25 minutes is not insane. You can do much better than this. But if you're getting this many kills and you're being this active and, you know, popping so many claries to fight, it's totally reasonable to have it a bit lower. And frankly, for a lot of players, this is the highest they've probably ever gotten on Storm at 25 minutes. And for him, this is this is pretty low because he's actually fighting a lot. There's games where you can get much higher, but play after play in the side lanes, the synergy with the teammates, it just goes to show how high of a game this is. Like, the fact that the Lion and the Snapfire have the synergy to spit each other onto each other, you know, whatever it is, the gobble up. Gobble, gobble. And then Storm is there as well, even though they're obviously not teammates or anything like that, is a big reason why these players are high MMR. Even this here, right? Nice deep ward from the Treant. They go in together, secure that kill, and yeah, this game is obviously not too good for the enemy team at this point. It is an 11k deficit against the Drow comp. Is not what you want. Very hard to come back against this hero because of the raw damage. Even if you kill one person, usually Drow strats have more than one core. And yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you guys learned a lot as the enemy team has dropped their items in the mid lane. If you did, click the like button and subscribe, as well as subscribe to the gameleap website for daily content, double daily content in that case. And yeah, Venos says AFK end. I hope you guys enjoyed. But yeah, that's going to be about all, folks. Remember, click the link down below and subscribe to the gameleap website where we have thousands of videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.